The Rambam wrote that Torah wisdom cannot dwell in the heart of someone who studies it in a relaxed manner, for those who insist on keeping themselves filled with snacks and beverages. It's only found among those who kill themselves over it, meaning that they deny themselves unnecessary pleasures, unnecessary relaxation, and unnecessary sleep. Although the mitzvah of Torah study is equal during the day or the night, a person gains the bulk of his wisdom during his nighttime studies. Therefore, anyone who wishes to gain the crown of Torah wisdom has to be sure not to allow even one night to be spent in eating, drinking, sleeping, or any other conversation. Every night must be devoted to Torah study and wisdom. Our sages taught that the song of Torah exists only at night, based on the verse, "Rise, sing during the night." Whoever studies Torah during the night is granted a, quote, strand of God's kindness during the day. This is derived from the verse in Tehillim 42:9. God commands his kindness during the day, and at night his song is with me, a prayer to my life's master. Any household where the words of Torah are absent at night will be consumed by fire, as the verse states in Yov 20:26. Wherever his secrets are hidden in the darkness, that place will be consumed by a spontaneous fire. Our sages taught in Ravine 65a, the purpose of the moon's creation is to enable people to study Torah by its light at night. This means that we must be more diligent about Torah study during the night than during the day. Wasting one's time at night incurs a greater punishment than the sin of wasting time during the day. Even in midsummer, when the nights are very short, one should still devote time at night to study Torah. One should increase this amount of time daily. In keeping with our sages' teaching in Avot 113, he who does not add more will meet his end. The Talmud in Ta'anit 31a states that this Mishnah refers to the late summer, beginning with the 15th of Av. Our sages declared in Brachot 17a, fortunate is the person who toils in Torah study and brings pleasure to his Creator. His standing increases as he ages, and he will pass from this world with a sterling reputation. As the verse states in Kohelet 7:1, a reputation is better than fine oil, and one's dying is superior to the day one is born. This law is a rather lengthy one, but possesses a lot of gems that can differentiate between making or breaking a person in terms to where he stands in gaining Torah wisdom. The Midrash in Bereshit Rabbah 68:10 relates that before Yaakov Avinu left Israel to Lavan's house, he was in the yeshiva of Shemen Evel for 14 years. During those 14 years that he spent there, he never laid down to sleep. In a different midrash, it says that King David had a special string instrument, which he had above his bed. At midnight, when the winds would blow, it would cause the strings on his instrument to start playing, and this would be his so-called alarm clock to wake him up to study until dawn. The sages teach in Sukkah 26b that if a person has to nap during the day, he should sleep no longer than a horse naps, which is typically in short bursts of 10 to 20 minutes at a time. Ravine 65a says that Rav Chizda's daughter would complain to him that he doesn't give himself much time to rest or sleep. He responds to his daughter that there will be much time for sleep in the grave. The Midrash says that anyone who looks to only gain wealth and comforts in life will not be successful in his Torah learning. To be successful in Torah learning takes great sacrifice and very little sleep. Mishlei 20:13 says, "Do not love sleep, lest you become poor." The sages teach that words of Torah aren't absorbed in a person's heart unless he tires himself for it. Hashem says, "My children, although I have granted you abundance in this world, and even more in the days of the Mashiach, and even more in the world to come, don't belittle the Torah by engaging in sleeping, drinking, and eating." Bava Batra 10a says Rav Nachman promises that the reward for someone who denies themselves sleep at night, Hashem will allow them to take pleasure in the brilliance of the Shekhinah in the world to come. Sanhedrin 71b says that when the righteous people sleep, it's a loss for them and the entire world. Rashi explains that when the righteous study Torah, they protect all the people in their generation, and when they aren't studying, the world is susceptible to calamities. Hashem loves when his people sacrifice time for his Torah. In Menachot 110a, Rav Yochanan said that when the Torah scholars spend their nights studying Torah, Hashem considers it as if they were offering sacrifices. Measure for measure. as the verse says in Tehillim 134:1, all God's servants who stand in God's house during the nights. The Midrash says that the Torah's secrets are more likely to be revealed to a person who studies Torah at night rather than during the day. At night, a person is usually hidden from the public's view, and he does it for pure motives and not for praises. As the verse says in Mishlei 11:2, wisdom is found with the modest. Rav Chaim Palachi says that if we would be able to see into the future, when our time here has ended, it's impossible to fathom the regret a person would have for not pushing himself to study more Torah. He will wish that he studied more and slept less. He continues and says that he gains the title of, quote, a friend of the Blessed Holy One, and when the world is suffering punishments of all different kinds, he won't be affected by any of them. Rishit Chochmah explains that when someone wakes up at night to study Torah, one has to do so purely because he loves Hashem and for no other purpose, and only then will he benefit the advantages described here in the Yalkut Yosef. The Pele Yoetz advises us to avoid luxury of sleep for long periods of time. We should do whatever we can to remain awake and alert, despite the heaviness of sleep that falls upon us. One should try standing up, washing his face, shaking off the sleep. It's definitely not expected to be acquired overnight. But as we've mentioned before, our time here is limited, and a person is granted a reward for his efforts that he invests. Rabino Yonah leaves us with a positive note. He wrote in Sha'arei Teshuvah 4:11 that when someone denies himself sleep for more hours of Torah study, he doesn't need any other forms of punishments to atone for his previous sins. He tells us that when Moshe Rabbeinu spent the 40 days on Mount Sinai, he didn't sleep at all. Moshe Rabbeinu said to himself, if I go to sleep now, I will lose countless jewels of Torah wisdom. The Yalkut Yosef here compares this to a king who tells his servant, go count the gold coins in my treasury, and whatever you can count, you can keep. But if that same servant will sleep during his time that the king grants him to spend in his treasury, his loss will unfortunately be immeasurable.